Hello, this is Movie Review number 1154. This is Transformers 1. Transformers 1 is a 2024 movie directed by Josh Cooley, who I believe also directed Toy Story 4. Transformers 1 has Paramount Pictures, Hasbro Entertainment, New Republic Pictures, Bay Films or Bayhem Films, and D. Bonaventura or DB Pictures. So, I saw this movie on October 19th, 2024 at Greendale Cinema in Greendale, Indiana. So, this is the movie that is fully animated, unlike the previous Transformers movies in the franchise. And I'm not talking about Transformers 1, the 2007 movie that started it all. I'm talking about Transformers 1, which is an animated movie that takes place before the events of the mainstream Transformers movies. And this is the origin story of the Transformers, especially how Optimus Prime and Megatron, how they were first brothers that came into that eventually became former friends and became enemies. So, this movie takes place on Cybertron, and we see Optimus Prime and Megatron, also known as Orion Pax and D16, and they are like brothers. And this movie basically details how not only Optimus Prime and Megatron became enemies, but it's like the beginning of how Cybertron fell. Now, I will say that Cybertron doesn't exactly fall in this movie, but let's just say it's like the beginning of that. As you know from the mainstream Transformers movies, that Cybertron eventually does fall and the Transformers go to Earth. But this movie takes place on Cybertron, and we see Orion Pax and D16, they are like brothers. And let's just say that Orion Pax's idea is that D16 is like, I don't know, bro, this might be too dangerous. But then Orion Pass and D16 find secrets about Sentinel Prime, who is like the leader of Cybertron. When they find out who Sentinel Prime really is and what it can do to Cybertron, they must try to take him down. However, let's just say that while Orion Pax wants to become more of a leader and wants to help Cybertron, D16 he becomes more frustrated and angry, and let's just say that this is like the beginning of him becoming Megatron. So I like how this is an untold origin story of how not only the world, but how Optimus Prime, Megatron became the Bee, but also how they got their powers in the first place. And the movie does detail the origins of the other Transformers that came before Optimus Prime and Megatron, and how one of those Transformers, Sentinel Prime, betrayed them. So I think Sentinel Prime was a character used in the third Transformers movie, Dark in the Moon. But this movie is fully animated and it definitely takes place on Cybertron, unlike the other movies which takes place on Earth. And I thought it was a really good movie. It's definitely animated, and yeah, it's like the beginning of how Orion Pax becomes the person the robot that you all know, Optimus Prime. So, we see Chris Hemsworth voicing Orion Pax / Optimus Prime. He is a minor and the eventual leader of the Autobots. Brian Tyree Henry voices D16 / Megatron. He is a minor also, but also the eventual leader of the Decepticons. Scarlett Johansson portrays or voices Orita 1. She is a minor and eventual Autobot. Keaton Michael Key portrays B-127/Bumblebee. He is a minor also, an eventual Autobot scout. Steve Buscemi voices Starscream. He is the leader of the Cybertronian High Guard, and he becomes an eventual Decepticon. Lawrence Fishburne voices Alpha Trion. He is an ancient prime who is a keeper of the ancient primes' cards. And Russia said that he is the one that tells Orion Path, D16, and the others about Cybertron itself and about Sentinel Prime. John Hain voices Sentinel Prime. He is the ruler of Cybertron, who is like the villain of the movie. And then we also see actors and actresses voicing characters, right? Vanessa Redgrave as Air Alternate, John Barry voicing Soundwave, Jason Pistols Alvarez voicing Shockwave, Evan Michael Lee as voicing Jazz, James Lamar voicing Stella Prime, Isaac C. Singleton Jr. voicing Darkwing, Steve Blum is writing the announcer for a race that Orion Pass and D16 entered, Jenny Chun as Artsy, and Josh Crury voicing Skywolf. Oh, Josh Crury voices a character in the movie. Pretty neat. So, the movie, I believe, the movie was part of a list of movies that the writers and producers of the mainstream Transformers movies wanted to do. And I think after the release of Age of Extinction, there were some writers and producers that thought about several films, including this film, a story that details how Cybertron eventually fell, but also the story of how Optimus Prime and Megatron became enemies. Because in one of the Transformers films, we get to hear dialogue between the two saying, with Megatron, I think, saying, "We were brothers once," and Optimus Prime saying, "Once," or something like that. So it's really neat to see how the brotherhood between the two friends eventually became enemies, and it basically defined the fate of Cybertron forever. So I heard they were going to make more movies. Like they were thinking about doing the Transformers 2 and 3 and the animated saga to how detail the origins of the Transformers and how the eventual betrayal between Optimus Prime and Megatron eventually led to Cybertron's fall. But I don't know what's going to happen. The only Transformers film that I know they are actually working on right now is the Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover film, which will be very neat to see. But it would be very interesting to see if they make more animated movies down the line. But yeah, this was a pretty good movie. I definitely recommend it. So that's my movie review of Transformers 1 Featuring 2 Minutes movie review. Alright, goodbye.